Okay, so today we're going to start talking about our quadrilateral properties. Today we're going to do parallelograms and rectangles. So within our properties of our parallelograms, we're going to go ahead and on the opposite side here for day 2, we're going to go ahead and mark these up, listing our properties. A parallelogram has opposite sides that are parallel. Okay, so what would that look like? AB would be parallel to DC, and AD would be parallel to BC. Both opposite sides, so 2 sets. What else does it have? It says opposite sides are congruent. So AB is the same length as DC. AD is the same length as BC. Okay, opposite angles are congruent. So D is congruent to B, and A is congruent to C. Okay, the next piece is consecutive angles are supplementary, which means they equal 180. So what's that look like? It says, so A and D, those are consecutive. If I were to kind of sketch here, we have parallel lines, okay, and then our transversal. So we're saying that this angle and this angle here are consecutive interior. So consecutive angles here are supplementary. So we could say measurement of angle A plus measurement of angle D equals 180. Okay, and the last piece is that the diagonals bisect each other. So bisect means they cut each other in half. So if I drew a diagonal from D to B and A to C, should go into the corner. Okay, it does not mean that these diagonals are the same length. It means that AC was cut in half by this diagonal. So that segment is congruent to this segment. And similarly for DB. So I'll give this one 4 marks and this one 4 marks. We will also be tasked with being able to apply all of these key properties on a basic shape. So if I go through my list, I should be able to draw it on this basic shape. Looks like a square. However, if I drew all of these on here, you should be able to identify that it is a parallelogram by its properties. So first I'll write opposite sides parallel, opposite sides congruent, so 2 sets of congruent sides. Okay. Opposite angles congruent, and that the diagonals bisect one another. So I'll give that 3, 3, 4, 4. All right. The next one is a rectangle. Rectangles here. Let's start off talking about the angles. They have 4 right angles. So each angle here is a right angle. Okay, then the diagonals, so it has all of the properties that a parallelogram has. So it has that the opposite sides are parallel. So parallel, 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 parallel. It has that the opposite sides are congruent. Okay. Opposite angles are congruent. Well, that's true because opposite angles are congruent there. Both these are 90. Consecutive angles are supplementary. 90 plus 90 is 180, so that's still true. Okay, diagonals bisect each other. That's still true. This time, the diagonals are congruent and bisect each other. So if I cut it like so, got my diagonals, these diagonals have bisected one another, so this piece is congruent to this piece, but also the entire diagonal is congruent to this entire diagonal. So I can give this one 3 marks and 3 marks. Okay, if you want to go ahead and add these two things here, we can write that opposite sides are parallel and congruent. So let's go ahead and draw these key features on a basic shape down below. So first, opposite sides parallel, opposite sides congruent, four right angles, and the diagonals are congruent and bisect each other. Let's use these key features to solve for some missing measurements.